Welcome to another episode of Titan PI TV, where we're looking at the inside workings of a live operational investigation agency, that being Titan here in Derby. Titan has 9 offices from London to Manchester, so we have that national reach. However, we are here today in Derby at our headquarters. I'm Simon Henson, host of this YouTube channel, Titan PI TV, and also Managing Director of Titan Private Investigation Limited. So in these short episodes, we are covering areas which we think of our interest, which are informative, but also areas which we've been asked to cover. We have been asked to cover this by one of our subscribers and frequently by industry professionals. So today, this short episode, we're looking at, is it legal to film from a public area into a private property or premise? We're not only going to look at filming from public to private though, we're going to be looking at filming from private to public and also private to private. So, first example, we're going to be looking at public area, filming into a private dwelling. So, Titan is contacted by a client. The client believes that whilst their child is in the custody of their estranged partner, that the child is undergoing physical and mental abuse. So we are instructed to gain evidence of that suspicion. So the client, we agree an investigation plan with the client. They agree for initially a 5-hour static surveillance. The operative sets up in their camera platform parked in a public road. They have a view of the address where the estranged partner lives and where they are with the child whilst that person has custody of them. So we are able to see into the property, and during the 5 hours, it is clear that the estranged partner is being verbally abusive towards said child. Child starts to cower and is slapped round the head. If a member of the public was to walk past at this time, they could also see this. However, our operative is set up in a camera platform with a view using a camera to record. The question is that legal? Yes, it is legal. The objective is to gain evidence of physical and mental abuse, and that is happening. What we are seeing, anyone could see if they were outside that address at that time. Our client, to avoid the Voyeurism Act, our client has no sexual gratification out of this, and the operative has no sexual gratification out of it. It won't fall under stalking because we have a specific objective. There is no intent to cause harassment, alarm or distress. It's covert surveillance. It's not ongoing and it's not too intrusive because of the objective. So yes, we can. Now that would surprise a lot of people, but it is. It is completely legal. Okay, let's look at another scenario of filming from a public place to a private place. So a client contacts Titan. They lawfully and legally and ethically want to know if a particular person attends an address. So once again, it's a static surveillance, not a mobile surveillance in this example. The operative is there and their sole objective is to record all people coming and going from the address because that might be of interest. But in particular, one person who is the subject of the inquiry or investigation. So once again, we have a view of the house from a public area. A person enters that property and we are able to get identifying imagery of that person. It is not the person of interest. Later on in that investigation, no one else has entered and the person of interest hasn't entered. However, the person that we gained identifying imagery of is seen in a window, and the operative decides to film again that person inside their home washing the pots, which can be seen on the ground floor. The light is on and it's clear. Anybody could see that who was walking past. Is it legal? It is. However, what I would say is, as we've covered in other episodes, particular the Ripper one, and also when we're talking about legitimacy and we talk about Japan and Plan, which is all about necessity and proportionality and accountability and justification, but not in that order. We need to make sure that our actions are necessary and proportionate. Is it necessary to film that person because we've already got identification imagery of them entering? I would suggest not. Is it justifiable? No. Is it accountable? Not really. We've already got that imagery, so why do it again? It could be seen as overly intrusive. So yes, it could be open to criticism, but is it illegal? No. There's no voyeurism. There's no sexual gratification. There's no stalking. There's no harassment, alarm or distress. So once again, it is legal, but people think that you're unable to fire a camera into someone's house. With the right objectives and if it's justifiable, accountable, necessary and proportionate, then yeah, there's no problem why you can't do that. Okay, so we've just looked at filming from a public area into a private property. Let's look at now filming from a private area into a private area. So to set the scene, the scenario is a client has instructed Titan to watch their partner. They have a suspicion that their partner is engaging in an extramarital affair. So we're instructed initially for 5 hours. The subject leaves the start location, which is the home address. We follow the subject who goes to a hotel. The subject books into the hotel. The operatives are covering the lobby area and the vehicle. The subject then appears in the lobby area coming from his room and he meets a female who is checking in. Body language, they look like they know each other well and could potentially be in a relationship. The male then goes to the restaurant area and the female goes up to her room and later on joins the subject. They have a meal together. The operatives are able to evidence this through using covert imagery techniques and equipment. The meal ends, it's about 10 p.m. now. We've extended the hours beyond 5 hours. The subject and the female, the unknown female from earlier, they leave hand in hand and they are evidenced into a hotel room and the door closes. The operatives are then able to pinpoint from outside the hotel which room is the room that they've entered. They plot up on that. The windows are closed, but the curtains are not drawn and the lights are on. So all activities happening in that room can be seen. They can be seen by the operatives who are parked in the car park of the hotel, and they can be seen by any residents or anyone walking past that room. Can we film? No, we can't. We cannot legally film without the permission of the landowner. So in this instance, we are in the hotel car park. We are not a guest and we don't have permission to be there. And I would hazard a guess that the landowner would not give us permission knowing that that is our intent, to gain imagery of a hotel guest staying in their hotel. So if we did do this, what are the consequences? Could be a civil trespass on behalf of the hotel owner, but unlikely. More likely though, if this evidence, this imagery is later used in a criminal or a family court arena, it's been gained unlawfully, so it's inadmissible. So consequences, they're not major. Civil trespass doesn't carry a lot. Professionally, it's not good and it's not ethical. It's not proportionate. It's not accountable. It's not necessary and it's not justifiable. So no, we shouldn't be doing it. It's not lawful. And the consequences are civil trespass, or that if this does go to court, our evidence is unlawfully gained, so completely inadmissible. So private to private, no. Okay, now let's look at filming from a private area to a public area. So we have been instructed by a client to follow an individual around. We have followed that individual all day and the operatives have gained a little bit of exposure. The subject then goes into a public open space. However, this open space is quite small and they don't feel that they can expose themselves anymore, or the subject may become aware or may lead to a compromise. So we'd rather have a loss than a compromise. So the operatives have let the subject run in that small open space and they are able to get a view from private residents only parking spaces. They film the subject. The subject opens the back of his van and he starts fly tipping. Are we able to film from a private area to a public area? The answer is no, without the landowner's permission. However, in this instance, the landowner might retrospectively give us permission because the public open space, the properties which they own, look over, and they don't want fly tipping happening in the area. So they may retrospectively say, yes, for that purpose, I will allow that. But without that permission, the answer is no. And the consequences, once again, civil trespass, same as private to private, and also you're looking at the evidence being inadmissible. And in this case, it's a criminal offence. So the evidence we gain is unlawfully gained without that permission from the landowner. So the answer is no, you can't. So I think we've covered it all there. We've covered the scenario from a public area into a private property. We've covered from a private property into a private property. And we've also covered from private property filming into public. So that might cause a little bit of discussion because people may have other views on this. But this is my view, and I think it's backed up lawfully as long as we can justify it. It's accountable, and it's necessary and proportionate. So that is another episode in the bag of Titan PI TV. Please, as always, give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and until next time.